Today is Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. And I'd like to start with calling this meeting to order, starting with the approval of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, approval of open session meetings, session minute from August 16th. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second review.
Okay, good morning, everyone. The first policy you have for second review is policy 114, Board of Education policies. This came before the policy committee in August and to the board at the September meeting. We've received no input from any stakeholder groups, so staff is requesting that this policy go for approval at the October meeting.
Do we go through all of them first for second review?
Sure. I'll go to the next one. Policy 4-5, immunizations and health assessments. Like the other, this came to the policy committee in August and the board in September. There's been no input from stakeholder groups, and we would ask that this go for approval at the October meeting. Okay, if there's no questions, I'll go to 510, school improvement plan. This, like the others, August policy, board September, no input from stakeholder groups, and we would ask that this go for approval in October.
Ms. Morris, I have a question.
Sure.
With the school improvement plan, is there a deadline that these that the groups are organized and that they start?
I believe, and I'm going to be
I can comment on that.
good. Thank you.
I don't know exactly when they start. I know that they would typically start sometime, after the school year begins. But the process that we use is they are due to the state board for approval by the December state board meeting. So we will bring our school improvement plans to the historically to the October curriculum committee meeting or the November curriculum committee meeting. Then our full board approves them and then we submit them to the state.
Gotcha. Okay. No other questions.
Okay, the next one is policy 8-3, fuel emissions. As the others, this came to policy committee in August, the board in September. There's been no input from any stakeholder groups, and so staff would ask that this go for approval in October.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The last one is the operation of school nutrition services, policy 8-4. And this came to the policy committee in August, the board in September, and there's been no input from stakeholder groups. So we would ask that this go for approval at the October meeting.
Okay. I move that we send policy 114, policy 4-5, policy 5-10, policy 8-3, and policy 8-4 for 6th board meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Next brings us to policy first review.
Okay, the policies that we have for first review today are all at the recommendation of the policies to lead the schools from the School Boards Association. And the first one is policy 2-23, disposal of personal property. I have recommended a change in the title of this to surplus property. It's confusing to people when it says personal property, kind of a legal term as opposed personal versus real property. And so personal doesn't sound district owned. So we've recommended the change to surplus property. And these changes are based on statutory changes. They have been reviewed by both facilities and finance. Facilities made a few recommendations for changes, which I implemented, and that's why you received a new version of this policy yesterday through board docs. And so we would ask that this go for first review at the board meeting in October.
I have no questions.
I had a couple little clarifications on in the middle there in section 1 where it's talking about the 30,000 in the item or group of items. Is it a group of items or is it per item?
It is what the purpose of where it says group of items is so that we don't, so there's no intentional separating of, it could be one laptop or 20 laptops. And so you don't take the 20 and split them up so that you end up with a lower value. So if they're similarly situated, it would be a group. Otherwise, it might be one. So it's so that there's no separation to get below the value.
Okay, and then the next paragraph, section 2, explain to me what a private sale would look like.
A private
It
sale
says,
might it be if there is a situation where somebody comes to the district asking to purchase it. I think it could be something like with a fire department or something like that when we've done some sales that way.
Or a sheriff's office wants one of our MCRs.
Yeah.
And then in section 4, where it talks about superintendents to give us a report by February, I guess I'm under has the superintendent exercised this right? Is that why I don't recall getting a report.
They
Go
come
to the
to,
facilities committee.
they come to facilities.
And I think they go on FYI in the board agenda.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I think that the change March to September, or, February to March and August to September was recommended by Mr. Burnett. I assume that is consistent with what the facilities committee is doing.
Yes.
Do we want to do the other two? We'll go to the next one then, 4.8.
Okay. 4.8, child abuse and related threats to children. This also was from the School Boards Association recommended changes and some statutory changes. The student support team or student services team has received these and had the opportunity to provide input, and staff would ask that this go for review at the October meeting. I did make some changes this morning after Ms. Heintel pointed out that we have some inconsistency in there where it said school system in some policies and district in some other policies. So I've changed where it says school system to district throughout that policy for consistency purposes.
I just had 2 comments. First page where it says superintendent shall develop necessary procedures for making report or otherwise implementing the policy. Has that been done?
We have procedures. We don't have administrative guidelines, I believe in this one. We have procedures for our counselors in working with our principals and ensuring that staff make the actual reports. And then we train on that with them annually.
Okay, and then throughout the policy, it states the school member, contractor, or volunteer. It says nothing about a board member. Do you think board members need to be added?
We can add board members however you want. I guess the assumption is that you all will do that, but we can add them where it says any employee, contractor. We usually don't direct you in board policy what to do other than in the chapter 1 policy. So we certainly can add that if you want.
Think, Kathy?
Fine with that.
Okay. You
Mhm.
can revise
Leave it
that.
as is? Or-
No, I'm changed. Yeah, that's fine.
Anything else on 4.8?
No, nothing.
Moving to 4.8.
Policy 417, student sex offenders.
We lost
This-
Mr. Price.
Oh, sorry. Let's see if it comes back.
Let's give them a minute to.
Back.
We see
Yeah.
you.
Sorry. All
Okay.
right, so we moved to 417. That's a
Yep.
lost connection.
Okay, yes, policy 417. This one is also reviewed at the recommendation of the School Board Association policies to lead the schools and statutory revisions. Student Services has had the opportunity to review and provide input, and staff is requesting that this go for review at the October meeting. In this one, there was, I believe this one or the child abuse one had frequent references to school system, and I've changed those to district.
Thank you. I have no other comments.
Hearing no comments, we'll move to policy 710.
Policy 710 is the use of unmanned aircraft systems and drones. This one, I guess there's been some FAA changes. And I sent this to the facilities team, risk management, as well as academics for the CTE, Brian Davis's review. Risk management did provide some recommended changes, and staff would ask that this go. We lost Todd again. I'll hold till he gets back. Glad we're on the last one.
Short, yep. I don't have any comments on 7-10.
I don't either.
Meeting now. There are 7 participants in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded. You have been added to the waiting room. Turn up to the waiting room. Turn up to the waiting room.
You guys hear me?
We can.
Yeah. Do you have any comments on 7-10?
I apologize, my computer's off, so I called in on the phone, but I have no comments.
We don't either.
So we would ask that all 4 of these
Okay,
go
hearing
to
none, I'll
the
I'll
board.
entertain a motion.
Yes, I move that we send policy 223, policy 4-8, policy 4-17, and policy 710 to the full board on October 6th for the first review.
Second.
All
All
those
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
Oh, motion to, are we done? Motion to adjourn?
I can just, the next meeting is October 18th at 8 a.m.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Mr. Price is frozen.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Thank you,
good day.
everyone.